I heard a lot about Brooklyn and Sunset Park. I didn't hear anything about Long Island because, after all, the entire bill has only to do with digging up the streets of Long Beach and putting up facilities in Island Park, and not one word about what's happening to those communities. I'm glad your community is going to benefit, so I'll ask you the following questions. How many miles of boardwalk are there in the city of Long Beach? 6 or 9 miles? I'll give you a choice. You don't have to look at your staff. You can look at me. I'm sure you were there.
I don't see what this has to do with the bill.
It exactly has to do with it because we have an exceptional situation right now where we have a sponsor who has no idea about a particular community, is asking to grossly impact a community with her bill, a bill that she's taking on that is a very, very, very local bill. And I say that with great respect to the Speaker, but he is absolutely incorrect. This is completely and only to do with the city of Long Beach and Island Park and nothing else. New York if it was a New York bill, they can run it right in the water. But as a fact, the person that you're working for, that he said you are working for, the lobbyist specifically said, he told you that he just didn't want to go to the DEC. That was a fact, and the guards were there at the door hearing it. So let's get to the point. How many miles do we have of the city of Long? Let me give you a different question. Who's the mayor of Island Park? You certainly have met with him, because this is a big issue. You don't have to whisper into her ear. She must know that she met with him. Come on. What's the name of the mayor?
Mr. Brown?
I don't see this as a local issue. While it's true that it involves municipal parkland alienation, it is only for temporary construction, authorization, and a permanent subsurface easement, which once completed will include a full surface restoration. This means that the parkland will continue to be usable as parkland. In addition, we have a letter from the City Council expressing their support for this legislation.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor. So the answer is you have no idea who. Well, let me ask you, Madam Sponsor, you have the letter. May I ask, who is the city manager, the person that runs the city of Long Beach, who you're quoting right now? Who's the city manager? Come on, you have the letter in front of you.
The letter is from the Long Beach City Council.
Okay, who's the city manager? The mayor, the chief of Long Beach. Who is that, please? You must have spoken to him. It's that important. You read me the letter.
I don't believe that's the subject of this bill.
I'm sorry?
I don't believe that that is the subject of this bill.
Thank you, Madam Sponsor. You quoted a letter that you received of such importance that they wanted this. You must have spoken to him or have it in the bill. Who's the city manager? The person that instructed to write this great letter that you just read to me.
The letter is from the Long Beach City Council.
Okay, and when you spoke to them, I respect that, Madam Sponsor. When you spoke to them of this great piece of literature that you're reading to me, who's the city manager that asked you to do this? We can go on from there. Let me ask you another question. Have you been to Long Beach or Island Park? Those are the areas that are going to be vastly, vastly impacted by digging 80 feet into the ground, running high-powered transmission cable past their homes. How many times have you been there?
That's not the subject of this bill.
Well, it is the subject right now, so I'd like an answer, please.
I don't see that this is a local issue.
And Madam Sponsor, and that's exactly why you shouldn't be sponsoring the bill, because as we all know, this entire body knows, we take on local bills because we care about our communities. People come to us, they have problems and questions and concerns, and we take it to heart. It's not business. We take it personal because we care about our communities. The fact that you can't answer means you simply don't care about the community that you're looking to push this exclusively Long Island bill. This has almost completely nothing to do, Mr. Speaker, with the state, because they could have just bypassed the Long Island community. But as the lobbyist that said the sponsor is working for said that they understand that the DEC would not allow it and they'll have to run through Long Island. Let's go on to the next question.
Mr. Levine, why do you rise?
Inquire as to whether Mr. Brown will yield for some questions.
I won't, Mr. Levine, but I respect you for asking the questions. Thank you.
Mr. Brown will not yield.
So Madam Sponsor, this is a $3.2 billion project. What private or local forums have you created in your local outreach to each of the communities to see if this is something that the community actually wants?
We have a letter from the City Council. It's signed by John Bendo, Elizabeth Cheston, Karen McMinnis, and Tina Postolari.
I respect what you're saying, but guess what? Their boss, the city manager, didn't sign that. That's Ron Walsh. Let's go. Let me rephrase my question again in a different way. What local forums have you created in your local outreach to these communities to see if they actually want this? Their streets dug up, high-powered lines, 7-story buildings going up in front of them. What forums did you do to come into these communities to do this? Madam Sponsor, there's a reason why someone from a different district, 20-something miles away, who has no idea what this community is about, doesn't sponsor a bill in someone else's community. For this exact reason, it's unprecedented. Let's go on. I'll ask you some simpler questions. How many residents are there in the village of Island Park? That's a simple one because we're talking about helping New York State residents. How many residents do we have in Island Park? That's an easy one.
This bill is about statewide
You don't know.
offshore wind projects.
All right. Let's get into the technical aspects because I know you read so many things. What body of water will the transfer station sit on in Long Beach? Without turning to them because you read it to me already.
Again, this bill is not on local issues. This bill is about renewable energy.
Madam Sponsor, I respect what you're saying, but you actually read it to me, and you don't know what you even read to me. I can't hear you through the mask, but maybe I just couldn't hear it. You don't know the answer to that question? Really? Well, let me tell you. It's
It sounds like I already answered it.
What is the answer then? Where in Long Beach, what body of water does the transfer station sit in? That's a simple question. It's a project that's going to affect all of New York State, and I can't get an answer with a transfer station that's going to make the entire project happen. You can't give me an answer on that? Where's it going to sit? That is the most basic question of this whole project.
Reynolds Channel,
And where is that?
in between Long Beach and the mainland.
Yeah, well, I got news for you, Madam Sponsor. It's actually not. It's actually in Island Park. This is a shameful, shameful situation going on here. Do you have the vaguest idea about where Island Park or Long Beach is and how the communities are impacted?
Again, this bill is not about a local issue.
Okay.
This is about the bigger picture, what the state of New York stands to gain.
So, Madam Sponsor, let me do it in your venue, then. We'll do this in the more socialist way. Assemblywoman, can you explain to us why at least 39 whales and 37 dolphins...
Mr. Levine? Mr. Levine? Wait a minute, hold up. Everybody stand at the same time, we don't go anywhere, all right? So, everybody, we're gonna take it down a minute. I understand the anxiety that you have, we got it. However, this is a process by we talk to each other.
Mr. Aubrey...
We don't attack each other, even in our opposition to the positions,
Mr.
right?
Speaker, I think I think I have the reputation of being a gentleman. I don't think any lady or man can say differently.
And we want you to retain that reputation,
and
sir.
our majority leader will tell you who the gentleman in this room always is. But we have extenuating respect, Mr. Speaker. We have extenuating circumstances where rules are being breached, and I say that respectfully to you. Common law of this House are not being followed. So things are going to be a bit exaggerated, so you'll forgive me for any animated remarks.
Well, if you have anxiety relative to what happened, then you should direct it to me, but not at the sponsor, because the sponsor didn't create the ruling that it's got you here.
That's true, but I do ask and require a sponsor that brings up a bill, Mr. Speaker, to be able to answer one question.
Right.
Just one.
The sponsor answers the questions as she answers them, not as you want her to answer.
In
right?
life, as we know, and I raised 7 good kids, there's the truth and there's not the truth. So all I ask for, Mr. Speaker, is the truth. We can go on if that's okay, Mr. Speaker.
As long as you maintain some decorum, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Assemblywoman, I'll rephrase the question. Can you explain to us why at least 39 whales and 37 dolphins have recently been found dead or stranded on the East Coast beaches?
If you can address me as Assembly member.
Oh, I thought Madam Sponsor, that's fine. Madam Assembly Person, could you please answer me why, it explains why at least 39 whales and 37 dolphins have recently found dead or stranded on the East Coast of the beaches. I was there and I saw many of them.
So I can't speak to those specifically, but I can speak to in general. There's been a huge push to try and preserve these species, so they have actually grown in population. And the ones that have appeared on shore that have been examined afterwards, it seems that the issues are impacts with vessels and not with windmills. And I'm getting this from the NOAA and the Bureau of Ocean Management, have stated that there are no ties between recent whale deaths and offshore wind development.
Thank you, Madam Assembly Person. In fact, the studies have actually showed that the energy developers, these energy developers, have been conducting offshore wind mapping surveys, and those sonar effects with this mapping has been thrown off the dolphins and they've been coming ashore. That is a fact, but we can go on from there. One last question, Madam Sponsor. Madam Assembly Person, I'm sorry.
Assembly member.
Have you ever been to either one of the communities, Long Beach or Island Park, and discussed this project with anybody? Just to
That's not what this bill is about.
I hear that, and I respect that. Still would like an answer to the question, please, just for the record. So
That's your answer.
That's my answer? Okay. Thank you, Madam Sponsor. On the bill, Mr. Speaker.
On the bill, sir.
Mr. Speaker, I have great concerns over the backdoor channeling to undermine residents of the 20th Assembly District. It's happened, it continues to happen in the most corrupt ways, right up to this very moment. Money is being spread around. They even enlisted Mark Ruffalo, the actor, to do their bidding in our small-town communities, Island Park and Long Beach. Let me give a little background. Under the banner of the Empire Wind Project, a Norway-based company, Equinor seeks to impose a $3.2 billion two-part project on two small residential local communities. Stations housing the wires that will transmit energy from the wind turbines to land will be built 15 to 20 miles offshore. A total of 147 turbines, each 900 feet tall, which much of the turbine components not made in America will be visually apparent for all to see at the shoreline. This electrified cable would actually make landfall at Long Beach and transverse 3.3 miles on land in the heart of the neighborhood to a substation in Island Park. This is one of the three Equinor projects. All the others, including Beacon Wind, Equinor's third project, have the high-powered electrified transmission cable going underwater. This one one of them even spanning from Montauk all the way to Astoria. So obviously the shortest distance of this route is inconsequential and it didn't have to go on land. The fact is that Equinor does not want to deal with red tape going through the state wetlands, and so they feel it's easier to trample on the residents of Long Beach and Island Park, and as Equinor said, the cheaper option. Equinor is dismissive, aggressive, and not listening to the residents of Island Park and Long Beach. Actually, to no one except the investors. How's that for being a good neighbor? As mentioned moments ago, there'll be a 7-story structure that's just 2 stories lower than the LOB in a residential neighborhood that has structures no taller than 30 feet. Despite strong community opposition, Equinor ignored the community's wishes and went to an out-of-town Brooklyn senator and assemblyman to get this done, to impose their will by introducing Bill A7764, ignoring home rule. And you can't get more home than this bill. Equinor has not been upfront or honest. By and large, the community is in favor of renewable energy products in a big way. It's not that they don't like this project. They just don't like the approach. They just want answers. They just want to give it a little time to digest this project. It's the methodology. Congressman D'Esposito, Senator Canzoneri Fitzpatrick on the other side and I have been working together to talk with the people most affected by this. We live and breathe these communities. My Brooklyn colleagues don't even have a clue of where these two communities are. You're asking yourself, well, what does the community think of this project? Well, the following message was sent to me yesterday morning from Mayor Mike McGinty of Island Park. Yeah, that's his name. Someone I actually know well, someone that I communicate with each and every day. Dear Assemblyman Brown, on behalf of the Incorporated Village of Island Park, its residents and the village board, I'm writing as it relates to the Empire Wind Project. I won't read word for word because no one wants to hear that. The ongoing settlement negotiations, hearings before the New York State Public Service Commission, and the public outreach attempts have failed to address fundamental issues and the questions and answers necessary for the Village of Island Park to make informed decisions as to the efficacy of this proposal. We talked about Long Beach, but here's a letter from John Bendo, June 9th. That's his third switch, and there's a fourth, and I understand there's a fifth coming up the road, but Ari, he knows me, wow. I'm requesting that you read the below message regarding, this is from Long Beach, message regarding the Empire Wind Project to the State Assembly. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me John. It's personal. We deal with our communities. Dear Assemblyman Brown, I write with urgent concern over the Empire Wind 1 and 2 projects which are slated to be sited off the coast of Long Beach and for which leases have been granted to Equinor. As a city that has been impacted by dramatic effects of climate change, he talks about all that. However, many of our constituents raise legitimate questions about the project's potential impact on public health, the environment, marine life, the economy, home values, national security, since the transmission lines for this project are proposed to come ashore in the city and transverse underground along the densely populated residential streets, and he asked me to pull the bill. The next day he switched it, and in any minute now you'll get the one pulling it once again. Again, the message keeps magically changing. Mr. Speaker, there are a lot of questions about the cost benefits. Huge claims of a $642 million benefit, but none of that has materialized in any discussions. On May 15th, several Congresspeople penned a letter to the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, asking for an investigation into the impacts of offshore wind along the eastern coastline amid calls for a moratorium on development and an uptick in marine life deaths. The Congresspeople authored a bill mandating a GAO probe that was passed and amended to the Lower Energy Cost Acts, with the House approved on March 30th. It's amazing. Congress can get something approved and set aside, and we can't do that for 30 minutes in our own assembly. These members of Congress requested the investigation to examine the impact of offshore wind development has on marine life, including whales, commercial and recreational fishing, tourism, and military use in vessel craft. They also asked for the watchdog to examine how severe weather events may impact wind turbines. We're always talking about climate change and climate control. Let's listen to Congress for at least something. With so much at stake, with so much reason for caution and concern, these offshore wind projects must be at a minimum paused until the Government Accountability Office concludes its study. In fact, many other lawmakers and environmental groups have called for a moratorium on offshore wind development and an investigation into the wildlife deaths. Then there's the community benefit. $7.5 million payment to Long Beach and Island Park, an absolute joke and slap in the face to the community. More to the insanity, when Senator Canzoneri Fitzpatrick and I questioned Molly Morris, the president of Equinor, last Tuesday, right here in the LOB at a meeting about the financial aspects of the project, she politely said to us, "Just trust me," echoed by that young man sitting next to us who claimed he's a big lobbyist and we should just trust him because he's a steward of the environment. She also stated, and everybody should listen to this, that they were here in Albany last Tuesday to renegotiate the state contract on this project because they were financially underwater, pun intended, due to the construction and related labor cost escalation. In other words, this is all a show, window dressing. They can't even do the project. But let's get to the issue at hand. If the project was so well received, if Equinor was so transparent, why the need to sit down with me and the senator last week, all the while scheming with Brooklyn politicians? Two individuals, as we just realized, haven't the vaguest idea or familiarity with the Long Island communities. They've literally never stepped foot into either community. I'm just reading past the stuff that gets very personal. I apologize. You know, this would be no different than if I went into Brooklyn and said, you know what, I'm going to put a 20-story tower in Ditmas Park in a residential area. The only difference is I would have respect for Brooklyn and the community and wouldn't dare do something like that. This bill is so local, Mr. Speaker, that it has metes and bounds descriptions. It doesn't get more local than that, Mr. Speaker, and we can't pretend it's not. Metes and bound descriptions of Long Beach. Right there in the text. How much more local can we get? This is a shameful act by legislators. They're obviously and greatly benefiting, as the lobbyist said to me right outside the door, from this project on the backs of my constituents and my fellow Assembly people's constituents that don't have the vaguest notion of whom our constituents are. I respectfully ask all of my fellow legislators to condemn this unprecedented and unhanded move and allow local determination by the residents and the purposely elected public servants to actually serve the communities. If you don't vote this piece of legislation down, you're opening up a big Pandora's box, and I think we all know that. I promise you, you will see that your fellow lady and fellow legislators will be proposing legislation in your own communities. And if you think, well, we'll just vote the Republican bills down, I got to tell you, I've seen you guys eat your own. They're coming after you guys. Don't forget, it was just a week ago, a few weeks ago today, that I gave a speech right at the $1 Million Staircase, and I said, by the same legislator that's proposing the not on my dime bill, they're just using Jews as the opening salvo. They're going after you guys. Where do you think this is coming from?
Mr. Levine, why do you rise?
This bill has absolutely nothing to do with any other pieces of legislation, nor is this bill in any way anti-Jewish. And I would urge you to caution the person who is speaking now to keep that in mind and to pay attention to the actual bill itself.
I respect my colleague, and I like him very much.
He
happens to once again be incorrect, but I'll heed his advice as much as it's worth. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you both.
How ironic that I stand before you asking my colleagues to allow this community involvement. I'll remind each and every one of you that we all just passed last week Assembly Bill A288 by my esteemed colleague, Assemblywoman Barrett. It reads, in addition to the authority's procurement programs and improved state permitting process, renewable energy projects require collaboration between host communities and renewable energy developers in order to be successfully and appropriately sited and constructed. At least let's abide by the rules. We don't want to do what's historic. I get it, Mr. Speaker. But how about the stuff we did last week? We just approved 2888. We just did that bill last week. So let's at least abide by the bill we just passed. Again, we are all conceptually in favor of this project, but questions must be answered. This project cannot be hijacked by an outside sponsor. For this reason, Mr. Speaker, I will be voting in the negative.